Alright, hello classmates in Emergency Resource Management. This is Dan Leslie. I'm going to take you through a presentation of the database that I've come up with based on hopefully reasonable inference in support of the emergency operations plan that Edmonds Community College has come up with and has made available through their website and I'm sure by other means. So I'll begin with the personnel resource category, starting with the officers and personnel in the security department. For this explanation, referring mostly to the officers in the security department as they will be the ones looked to sort of get the ball rolling in an emergency response. Some of the things I would recommend for officers, and I myself am an officer at a community college security department, and I'm not blowing smoke. I actually have these particular certifications among others. But some that I would recommend for the officers to have in place and have ready to use in the event of an emergency would be certification in the FEMA course IS 700A, or NIMS, National Incident Management System. It's important for an officer to have this due to the fact that they'll be interacting, especially after the emergency response is really up and running. They'll be interacting with multi-departments, including large-scale response mechanisms such as police, fire, and aid. And they'll probably be working as well with certified emergency managers. All these departments, and hopefully the local security department as well, will be familiar with NIMS, and in that way will be able to interact smoothly with each other, all having sort of a similar standard operating procedure. Moving on, I recommend certification as community emergency response team members. This due to the fact that it's likely that people from the local community will want to volunteer at the school in sort of the safe zone area wherever folks are staged up, being served juice or whatever. And it's likely that these type of folks will have become involved in the CERT program, and it's important for the individuals in the security department who will be working with them or directing them to be familiar with the CERT program as well in order to work together in an efficient and productive manner. The next certification I would recommend is the application of CPR AED. I say set application of because the certification is one thing, but lots and lots of people have that, and it really is still sort of unclear to them what they should do and when they should do it in the event of medical emergency that somebody is having. And so it'd be important for security officers and personnel to really have a grasp on these basic life-saving activities. Officers will be briefed on campus evacuation criteria and emergency response prioritization. What I mean by prioritization is in what order they should begin responding to a
large-scale emergency on campus. Now, if it's localized, that's one thing, but if the entire campus is affected similarly, it'd be important for the security office to have a plan in place as to where they're going to begin their response. It'd also be important for the security department to have in place secondary and tertiary response mechanisms out there, which would mean they don't necessarily have to be at a location physically. They can be at their primary response location and have maybe trained staff or faculty members, which I'll touch on later, in place in order to begin the emergency response at those remote locations. The next qualification I'd recommend is in the operation of emergency response equipment, such as tractors or box lifters, these types of things. If there's a large-scale emergency that's going to require more than just a few hours worth of response time and recovery time, it's likely that large equipment is going to need to be used, and I think it important that the security department personnel be able to utilize or at least be able to oversee the use of these vehicles. I move on to sort of an explanation of the use of this resource, explaining that security department personnel will act as emergency managers during initial response phases of emergency, transitioning to facilitation role as assigned emergency response management personnel arrive on scene. Again, just emphasizing the idea that the emergency response will be initiated by the security officers on scene, and as more capable or more qualified individuals arrive on scene, the security department will take more of a backseat, becoming facilitators to those individuals, assisting them in basic response necessities, as well as assisting them with the security department's enhanced familiarity with the campus. Picking up the pace just a skosh, the next personnel resource that I recognize are facilities staff members. As a security officer on a campus myself, I can tell you how useful facilities staff members can be in the event that an incident has occurred. In my particular role here on campus, I am the only representative from the security department during my time here, and then later on in the evening, I'm the only representative from any department on campus whatsoever. And so, if there is an incident and there's more than one of me required, I can oftentimes utilize the assistance of the individuals in the facilities department. The only recommendation I would ask of the members of the facilities staff are that they be briefed on the evacuation criteria and emergency response prioritization in the same way that the security department personnel have been, in order for everybody to be on the same page during the initial seconds of an emergency incident. If everybody has the same mental model of what should occur in what order, things ought to go very much more smoothly.